Hello everyone, this is TG Blazar here with Anthony, the winner of today's OTS tournament, and he was playing Fur Hire. So let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. You ready, sir? Alright, so what are we starting with?
So first we're starting with Philo. Philo is the same effect of all level 4 or lowers to special summon a Fur Hire from your hand during either main phase, except what makes them different is that every level 4 or lower, whenever you special summon another Fur Hire, they get an extra effect. This extra effect lets you special summon from the graveyard in defense position a Fur Hire monster.
Okay. So what do we have next?
Next is Dampa, Marksman Fur Hire.
Okay.
Dampa has the same first effect as all the other level 4 or lowers.
Okay.
And second effect can destroy face-ups. So
one face-up card on the field?
One face-up
Okay.
targets and destroys.
Alright.
It's a pretty good card.
Showed up in one movie. She was barely in the next movie.
All right,
And all of a sudden, there's a whole movie about her.
Next is Recon.
There's no
Scout
Okay.
Fire.
Get out.
Recon's effect is the same as Dampa's, but face downs, so set cards.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
Like when I was a kid, I was so sad when there was no more.
Beat, like one of the best cards in this deck. Subjective, but its effect is its second effect is that it can search your deck for a higher monster,
Okay.
which is really useful for going into combos like the Stratos of the deck.
Gotcha.
Right.
Alright. So what do we have next?
Weird to see it with
Homer?
the sun out.
Homer's effect lets you discard one and discard a Fur Hire specifically and draw one card,
Okay.
along with the same effect of all the other level 4 lowers.
Okay.
Seal, Strategist for Hire. Strategist has the same effect of all level 4 lowers and second effect to add one for hire from your graveyard to your hand. A monster.
Okay. So just kind of recur some of the ones that you've already lost.
Yeah. Also, it's really good for extending combos and stuff like that.
Okay.
Bravo
No, it literally is.
has the second effect of for the rest of this turn, the for hire monsters that you have on the field gain 500 attack.
SoundCloud rapper.
Very nice. Gives them a nice little attack boost.
Yeah, really good for like game ending or just
That final push.
yeah,
Okay.
if you really need it.
The homie.
Sagita. Sagita's effect's pretty good for. It's burn effect does 500. Burns your opponent for 500 times the amount of Fur Hires you have on the field with different names, except for Sagita.
It is banned in modern.
So a max of like 2,500 burn if
Yeah.
you had 6 on field.
So it can be really useful
Yeah.
if you get that burn damage.
And then it's like I could just see Zan, and then I was like,
Dinah, Hero for Hire. So Dinah's effect lets you banish from your opponent's graveyard the amount of Fur Hires for the amount of Fur Hires you control with different names, including Dinah. So just good against a lot of decks like let's say
Sky Strikers, any deck that likes their graveyard.
yeah, like Tinnies. These are also good against Tinnies as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good against most decks.
With
Sagefire, it has. Oh, right. I forgot to say all the level 5 hires have the effects whenever they're summoned. So that's the instead of like level 4 lowers, they get their effects on summon instead of they get to summon, which is pretty good. All their effects are like really useful. So
Okay.
yeah.
It's the little one. It's the other one.
Wiz's effect lets you gain 500 life points. It lets you gain 500 life points equal to the amount of Fur Hires you have with different names, except for Wiz. So max 25. It's like
The opposite of Sagita.
yeah, it's the exact opposite of Sagita. Oh right. Sorry about this. Going back to Sagita and Dinah. So I didn't really mean to do this, but I forgot about a few effects. So Sagita's effect is she can be the only fur hire that you control. She's the only fur hire that you control that you can target with fire effects.
Okay.
And
So gives a layer of protection.
yeah. Same with Dinah, except the only fur hire you can attack. Your opponent can
I
attack.
wish I was younger.
Very nice.
Go back in time, tell myself to jump stop.
Was the second effect is that you can discard one fur hire once per turn to negate one spell slash trap.
Okay.
Yeah. So really good if you need to negate if you're going against a deck that's very
Spell heavy or trap heavy.
Spell trap heavy. For fall, whenever it's summoned, it can excavate from the top of your deck. The amount to the amount of fur hires you control with different names, except Rafal, except himself. So, and and you add one to hand and shuffle the rest of your deck.
Okay.
So
It adds any particular card. Doesn't have to be for hire
doesn't
specific.
have to be fur hire. It's really useful. Also has the same effect of Wiz to discard fur hire to negate, but it's for monsters.
Okay. Negate monster effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. You have everything for the deck.
That's the rest for the fur hires. Other monsters are a few dangers. So yeah, the first one is Danger Mothman. Mothman's effect is you can reveal him in your hand, and then your opponent picks one card from your hand randomly, and that card gets discarded. And Danger's effect, whenever it's discarded, is that both players draw one card and discard one card.
All right.
And whenever it's not discarded, it special summons itself and draws one card. So either way, you get that draw. Sometimes, you kind of need something in your graveyard, and a draw is useful, in either way.
Right.
So
Graveyard sculpting and hand sculpting. I like it.
yeah. Danger Thunderbird.
All right.
Danger Thunderbird's effect. It has the same effect to reveal it from the hand, shuffle
Make your opponent discard one, and
yeah. So, except this one, whenever it has the other same effect of if it's not discarded, it can special summon itself and draw one card, and that's really useful. But also, whenever it's discarded, it has the effect to pop one face down your opponent controls.
Okay.
So
So a little bit of removal as well.
yeah, also really good for trap spell heavy decks. Going on, that's the rest for monsters. Moving on to spells.
Okay.
First for spells, Mayhem for hire. Really useful card for fur hires. It's kind of like you don't really need it, but it's really useful. It's especially for combos, which this deck is very combo. So Mayhem for hire lets you. It's a quick
Quick play.
It's a quick play spell that lets you special summon from your graveyard a fur hire in defense position.
Okay.
That's it. It's really useful.
No effect negation, so just pop a fur hire on board. That's pretty good.
Op fur hire on board?
I'm sorry.
Oh, its effect is special summon from the graveyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, he said
Continue.
something. Yeah, alright. Mind control. Mind control's effects skill an opponent's monster. Can't attack this turn, and it can't attack or be tributed.
Okay.
It can be used for extra deck summons, which are really useful.
Yeah. Go ahead and get that linked off, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Instant fusion. Pay 1,000 life points and then special summon from your graveyard a fusion monster that is level 5 or lower. But it can't attack. But it can use effects. So relinquished. Not relinquished. Why did I say relinquished? That's the wrong thing. 1,000 dice restrict, really useful card to run in a lot of decks.
Yep.
1 for 1. one for the effect is if you can send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, and then special summon from your hand or deck level 1 monster. It's good for going into Philo, because then you can like discard a level 5 or higher, and then special summon Philo, and then continue like special summon with Philo, and then activate Philo's effect, special summon from
Combo
your
off
graveyard.
from there.
Yeah, really good. Monster Reborn. It's Monster Reborn.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have to say much about that.
Standard cards are standard.
Rhoda. Reasoning. Reasoning. Use a little bit of a. Some people don't know what that is. So, reasoning. Your opponent calls a level, and then you excavate from the top of your deck to the graveyard until you hit a monster. So if it's the level that they call, it stays in the graveyard. But if it's not, it gets special summoned. It's really good for this deck because they're all different levels, and like if it hits the graveyard, it's not that bad. But like because you can continue going on for combos if you can. But if it gets special summoned, like no matter what, if you have a level 4 or lower, it gets its effect. The only bad thing about having this is that sometimes it hits a danger and then like
It shuts it down.
yeah. Last card for spells, double or nothing.
Interesting.
I'll talk more about that later, but this card, whenever a monster's attack is negated, you can target that monster. It gets an additional attack and it gains double attack.
So very, very good at game ender, from what I
Yeah.
understand.
For a certain combo.
Yep.
Moving on to traps. Training for hire for all your training needs. So training for hire, if a for hire you control is destroyed by your opponent's card effects or battle, it lets you special summon from your deck a level 4, not level 4, it lets you special summon from your deck a monster equal to that monster's level. Well, not equal to that monster's level. Under that monster's level. So if you hit
If Raphael was destroyed, you could get anything that's for hire related, pretty much.
except for Fall. Yeah, so anything under that level that was destroyed.
Okay.
Great. The only one it doesn't work on is Philo, so obviously it's level 1.
Yeah. Can't really get much lower than that.
Yeah. Like, Solemn Warning.
Yep.
Pay 2,000 life points, negate a summon, or negate a summon, or something that summoned, like,
An effect to summon?
yeah, or an effect to summon. Really good card. I don't have any other Solemns, so it's all I can get right now. And last of all, for the main deck, there can only be one really good card for this deck.
Since they're all different types.
What it does is that it makes to where you have to have each opponent can only control one monster of each type. So it locks out a lot of decks, but this deck it's fine against because they're all different types. So some of them share a type, but not a lot of them do.
Right.
So there's just a bunch of different types, and it just works. It works really well.
All right. Moving on to the extra deck. What do you have for us?
Starting with the links. Running Folgo.
Okay.
Folgo. First of all, its requirement is 3 monster for hires. Just 3 monsters with different types. That's it. That's all it needs. It can't be used for link material to go into other links. So, that stops some things. But its effect when it's link summoned, is it lets you special summon from your deck a for hire monster in defense position, and really good for just really good for combos. Its second effect is whenever you destroy something your opponent controls, it lets you draw 1 card, and if you have 3 or more for hires, it lets you draw 3 cards, which is insanely useful for any deck.
All it does is generate advantage.
Yeah.
okay, there's a Korean guy, or like, yeah, he's Korean because of the
This is why that is too shiny.
But
Alright, so what do we have next?
Next for links is
okay, like what his middle name was okay.
BLS, Blackluster Soldier,
It was like-
Soldier of Chaos, yeah. Really good card. Its requirements, well, its only requirements are 3 monsters, with different names, of course. But its effect is if it was summoned with a level 7 or higher, which you can get out pretty quickly with this deck. It can't be destroyed by card effects, and it can't be targeted by card effects. So it's really useful. And its other effect is whenever it destroys a monster, it gets the effect to
Close call, Jay.
it gets either the effect to banish 1 card, the effect to get 2 attacks in your next battle phase, or it gets 1500 attack permanent, and its original attack is 3000. So
If it gains that 1500 attack, not much swings over it.
yeah, and
Alright.
yeah, not much can beat over that card.
Alright.
You hear about the Jake
Link
Wood
3 though,
in town who to get a kid to stop biting, so he's bit him,
good for 1000 dice restrict,
bit
and
someone else's kid.
and just if you need it for Philo,
I don't know.
because sometimes you don't get the greatest hands and you kind of have to open pretty badly, then like it's the only thing you can do, and it saves you a turn. So if you really need it, but like going into 1000 restrict, stealing a monster, and then going into Link Karibo,
Gets it off the field and
and it lets you like wait a turn, like not like it saves you for a turn as well.
Yeah.
So that's useful. Wait, I didn't talk much about its effect. It contributes itself to make if an opponent's monster declares an attack, it contributes itself and then make that attack 0. So it either like they decide to declare attack, which is dumb, or kind of like forces them to just not attack. Next is Borolo Dragon. Weirdly enough, I can't really remember all effects by memory, but I know that whenever it attacks, it can steal an opponent's monster, which is really useful.
yeah.
It's a Link 4, and yeah, it has to be 3 or more effect monsters. So
Alright.
yeah,
Continuing on.
yeah. Underclock Taker. Underclock Taker has the really useful effect to once per turn target 1 card. This one card Underclock is pointing at, and 1 monster your opponent controls, and then the monster that your opponent controls loses attack equal to the monster this card is pointing at. Sometimes that's useful. So that's pretty useful effect if you really need to beef over something. But what I usually use it for is it's a Link 2, and sometimes it's really needed whenever you need to like get rid of something on the field. Like if you use Mind Control and you're not looking too good and all you have is 1 monster, go into Underclock, attack for 1k if that's the only monster they control, or you can go into something else if you have something else. I don't know.
Alright, continuing on. What do we have next?
Okay. So that was the rest for the links. Going on to Xyz.
Alright.
Xyz. First is Mannequin Cat. So Mannequin Cat has the effect to send 1 material to the graveyard. Oh, well, first of all, its requirements are 2 level 2 monsters. So the deck runs 5 level 2s, so it's really easy to get out. Its effect is you can send 1 material to the graveyard and then special summon from your opponent's graveyard a monster to their field.
Okay.
So you kind of think it's kind of a weird effect to give your opponent a monster, but its other effect is to target a monster your opponent controls and special summon from your deck a a monster with the same attribute or type,
Okay.
and really that's pretty much anything.
Gives you a little bit of variability to play with there.
Yeah, all of them have different attributes, so you have every single attribute in the deck. Pretty much you can access anything with this card. I haven't found much bad things about this card. It's really useful most of the time.
Okay.
All right. Next Xyz monster. Utopia Double. This is the reason why we run. This is the reason why I run
Double or nothing?
Double or Nothing in the deck, because its effect is, well, it requires 2 level 4 monsters. Same reason why I run 2 of each level 4 for higher in the deck, and I run 2 Mothman. It's really easy to get to, and its effect is that you can send 1 material to the graveyard and search for Double or Nothing, and then it overlays a Utopia onto it, a Utopia monster onto it, and doubles its attack. So yeah, it makes a really powerful combo. Onto the same combo, Utopia that you go into.
To just overlay on top of it?
Yeah, so its base attack is 25, so it becomes 50. It becomes 5k whenever it's equipped. Not equipped. Whenever it overlays with
Double?
Double, yeah. So its effect though is when any monster on the field declares an attack, you can send 1 material in the graveyard and negate that attack. So what you do with this is you attack with Utopia and negate his own attack, and then activate Double or Nothing to give him double attack and another attack, so it's 10k, but it can't attack directly. So
Still, that's
Yeah.
if you're hitting a monster for 10k, that normally ends games.
yeah, so it's good to remember that it can't attack directly. Sometimes I've done that and I forgot that it can't attack directly, and just had a monster on board, and I mean it only has 10k for the rest of the turn. Usually the opponent will beef over it. It also destroys itself whenever it doesn't have any material on it. But it's good for game ending. If your opponent has a monster, you can beef over it, and then it's just a really good combo.
All right.
Yeah. The only downside to running the combo is that sometimes I'll draw into Double or Nothing, and then you can't really do it.
Yeah. You don't get that
oh,
big
yeah.
push.
Yeah, and then that's the last for Xyz, and onto fusion monsters. 1,000 Eyes Restrict. So
Mr. Still Your Girl.
yeah. So 1,000 Eyes Restrict effect is once per turn you can equip one monster your opponent controls onto this card, and then it gains that attack, but it's not going to be that doesn't matter, because the way we're getting it out is with instant fusion, so it can't attack. But the way you do with this is that you usually want to link into
Link Karibo.
you usually want to link into Karibo. So you destroy an opponent's monster and get save on and you get a turn to and you can save 1 attack.
All right.
It's pretty good.
Is that the last card in the extra deck?
That's the last card in the extra deck.
All right. So let's move on to ratios then.
Yeah.
Starting with the main deck, what all monsters do you run? Like how many of each?
Okay. So first of all, Philo. So, let's see.
So you're running 2 Philo?
Yeah. 2 Philo. So the reason why I run 2 Philo is because it's really not the best thing to open up with, but really good late game. So you don't want to get it all the time, but it's really useful card. I run most of the fur. Most of my fur is level at 2, so that's pretty good.
It's a 1 for 1 target. It's a 1 for 1 target.
All right, what do we have next? Looks like 3 Donpa.
Yeah. So we got 3 Dompas. Just a really good card. Good for you usually want to go second with this deck, so it's just a really good to open up with. If your opponent doesn't use mini monsters, you know, yeah, you
Just
still
take
have
out
you still
something.
have a yeah, you can still side deck if you have a side deck, and it's a good opening card, like all of the level 4 lows to special summon something. It's just a good starter.
All right.
That's why we're
Moving
at
on.
3.
Yes. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah. So next is Recon. I run 2 Recon, mainly because popping a face up is more useful than popping a face down. But like, it's still really good. Mainly running it 2 for the same reason as Philo. It's not the best opening up with because of stats, but you know it's still like really good for starters.
All right.
Okay. Next, Beat. Like I said, it's practically one of the best cards in this deck. This deck is mainly a combo deck, so it's good at all times. It's just
You want to see that one?
Yeah, you want to go. Yeah, you're always gonna want it because it searches. It continues combos, can search anything but beat.
All right.
Away and spell the traps.
Searches everything.
Yeah, it's really useful. Next, 1 Helmer, because Helmer isn't really that useful all the time. Because you have to discard 1 for higher to draw 1 card, but it's still pretty good in those times whenever you need a draw, and it's also a starter. So you know, 1 can't really do much with it, except for like it's a starter. So want to run as many starters as you can. Well, not like as many, but like you know, you wanna, yeah. Next is Seal. I'm running 2 Seals. It's level 4, so it can go into Utopia Double. That's really useful. But also, it's the same reason of Philo for the graveyard. You don't like for the beginning. You don't want to run. You want to open it really quickly.
Yeah.
Because like you know, it sometimes doesn't do much. It's still better opening than Philo, but you still kind of want to run the 2 to be safe.
I was like honestly confused
All right.
why I had 2. That's what I was like, wait.
Running 2 Bravo.
Caleb 1?
You know, it's a good card. It's not amazing. It has great stats. It's a 19, so if you need a 19 beat around the field to get over stuff, it's there.
All
You know?
right.
And it also beefs up your other monsters, but it also has a few downsides. Being it's not as good as some other cards in the deck.
Yeah.
Moving on to level 5 or higher. Sagita, I'm only running at 1 because like the only reason I really use it is for burn, but like it has some good protection though. So you know, only one.
Only 1.
One Dyna as well. Mainly the same reason, but oh yeah. Okay. So only 1 Dyna.
All right.
So yeah, Dyna's effects it's useful. So like, but it's not amazing. It's kind of like a Sagita, you know. But I still think it's better than like running Sagita in the deck. So Sagita's optional, but I like running Sagita for the burn. But yeah, Dyna's really good going against card decks that you banish. She might side deck more Dyna's, but yeah, just generally Dyna's an alright card.
Fair enough. All right. So what do we have next?
Next, 2
Two Wiz?
Yeah. It's a level 7 or higher. You can go into BLS.
All right.
Also good at indie games if you really need that game.
Yeah, it does that to me too.
Against that final match against Trickstars, go ahead and try and
Yeah.
gain some life points.
Yeah. 3 Recall. It's practically the boss monster of the deck. Just big beat stick sometimes, and it also has a really good like. It also lets you get something, which
Very
is
nice.
continuing combos.
Yes.
On to Dangerous. 2 Mothman and 2 Dangers. Just 2 Mothman and 2 Thunderbirds.
All right.
They're both like the same amount of usefulness. Just
Like,
both
I
of
know
them
you're trying to get as much
dangerous.
sell
Just
that,
the draw. All right.
Now on to spells.
Yeah. 3 Mayhem. Really good card to continue combos. It's just it's a really useful card for the deck.
All right.
So, are you going to mix this up or okay?
2 Mind Control. Hopefully I can run it at 3. Just it's a really useful card. You have quite a large extra deck. Really good to remove monsters.
Yeah. Get rid of something you don't like and bring it to your side of the field.
Yeah. Really useful. Double or nothing. Only running 1. It's so it's a one-time thing. If you because the only problem is that you sometimes draw into it and you really don't want to do that.
Right.
So only 1. One reason. It's at 1.
Yeah, it's limited to 1.
Same for Rhoda. Same for Monster Reborn. Same for 1-for-1, and yeah, those are limited cards. You kind of have to. You have to run those at 1. And Instant Fusion at 1 only because I only have 1,000 eyes, and it's a good card, but it's kind of like
Very niche.
yeah, I only run it at 1 because like you don't use it all the time. And sometimes your opponent doesn't have like a huge board and you draw into it and it's there. So
On to traps.
there can only be 1 is at 1. I am planning to side deck it, so like
That'll be your
It's
replacement
good.
mind control.
yeah, that'll be a replacement mind. But so here's the thing is that it's not always great. Sometimes it
Hurts you more than it helps.
It hurts me. Like you have quite a bit of beasts and you really want to, Solemn Warning, I run it at 1 because I only have 1. So, I might run more if I get more in the future.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
On to the last trap.
1 training. So training is all right, but it's like, it's just sometimes it's not useful, not that useful. Like, not always things getting destroyed by card effects, and by battle, like, you don't always need it. You don't always need it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And on to extra deck.
And then UK. Oh, you guys want to go to UK?
1 Link Reader.
All right.
Just it's
Really solid with the deck.
Yeah, it's really solid. It's useful. It's useful. 1 Underclock. Don't always need it, but if you do need it, it's there. So
All right.
1 Boar Load. I only have 1 Boar Load, but it's useful. Really useful.
If you can pick up another one, you'd probably throw it in there.
I'd probably run it at 2, for just in case.
All right.
You're only running 20 lands, so you probably
2 BLS. It was kind of hard getting into BLS, but be very useful to have more than 1 because
Yeah.
the first one they're gonna have to get over. The second one's like a game ender if you have that.
Yeah.
Because it's just